Hello and welcome to Sick Notes, where we explain medical things in simple terms. But today it's more of a fun video. That's why I'm not in my usual shirt, because last week I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Sarah Nicholls, a fellow doctor and fellow YouTuber, and we shared some of our experiences of med school, although we shared 2 truthful things and 1 lie, and we had to figure out which was which so you guys could play along at home. We met up with the YouTube creator space in London. There were lots of creators there, so it was quite noisy, so apologies for the sound on this one, but let's check out the video. I'm joined by Dr. Sarah Nicholls.
Hi guys.
So you're an F2 up in Nottingham?
Yep.
How has your first 2 years been?
It's been great. It's been really busy, but it's been really enjoyable. I'm absolutely loving it.
Cool. And also what makes it busier is that you have a YouTube channel yourself.
I do indeed. I'm over at Dr. Sarah Nicholls if you want to check out my channel.
Cool. And so today we're going to be figuring out if we can tell the truth or not.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to give each other 2 truthful things that happened in our career and 1 lie, and we're going to have to figure out which is which.
Yeah.
Let's do it. We'll just speed this bit up so it just looks...
I think doctors are good at working out when patients are lying.
Not always though, you can get caught out. The classic thing is where a patient tells you something and then you come back with a consultant.
I know what you're going to say.
And it's completely different.
Yeah.
All mine are exam based.
Okay.
So my first one is that I tried to do a PR exam on a real patient in an OSCE.
Oh God. Oh my God.
For those who don't know what a PR exam, it's often called a digital rectal exam. That's where we put a finger up the back passage. The next one is I missed one of my exams because I was on a stag do.
Oh, bad form.
That's a probity issue. Just gonna get this. It's a bad idea. And the last one is I got a yellow card in an exam for the outfit I was wearing.
Oh, classic. That is a classic.
Classic.
So I've called my first one broken arm with a welly.
Okay.
Right. My second one is I dislocated my shoulder whilst in the women's rugby team.
Okay, fine.
At med school. And the third one is that I've called this one, Isn't It a Bit Late to Be Drinking Coffee? And this is involving an incident where I mistook a consultant for a patient.
Okay, I'm intrigued. So, where was this?
So it was in A&E, and there was a patient who had come in with a fractured radius.
I thought you were going to say a welly.
No.
Okay, fractured radius, okay.
And as you know, when you fracture your radius, you normally do it at one end or the other. This one had been fractured right in the middle.
Okay.
So it's quite an unusual mechanism of
well, it was a welly.
Break. Well, it wasn't broken by the welly.
Oh, okay, fine. I was going to say some kind of steel toe cap welly.
No, so the story goes that this man was walking along the edge of a field and he was wearing wellies.
Sure.
And he had a stone in one of his wellies. And instead of trying to take his welly off, he actually decided to hold on to one of the fence posts and lift his leg up and try and shake the stone out of his welly.
Okay.
And someone from the other side of the field thought that was an electric fence and thought that he was getting electrocuted, so grabbed a massive stick and whacked his arm to break his bond with the fence.
That's mental. So it was an assault.
Yeah, I guess you could call it that.
So it was a good thing to do.
Yeah, it was an act of kindness. I guess you could call it that.
I kind of believe that. It's too ridiculous. And you know when you go in A&E and you see something bizarre like that, regardless of if you have or not, you have to say to the patient, we see this all the time because it makes them feel comfortable. Whereas secretly you're like, I have never seen that before.
Yeah. You PR'd a patient in an exam?
Yeah, so I didn't, but I tried to.
Okay, good. Right, you didn't actually do the deed.
No. So this was OSCE exam.
Right.
and it was a communication station.
Okay.
But I didn't really know it was a communication station.
Yeah.
So it was someone with prostate problems, and within the first kind of minute or so, the guy said, do you have to do a rectal examination, which obviously you do for prostate stuff.
Yeah.
And I just got flabbergasted. I was like, what? And because there was a screen in the room, I just said, oh, right, okay. So I asked him, okay, yeah, just go behind the screen like this. And the examiner didn't do anything.
So they let you go on with it?
Yeah, and it was only when the guy got on the couch and then I was like, oh yeah, I need a chaperone, that the examiner was like, yeah, I kind of looked at him, he was like, no, we just want you to take a history. But I was so amped up on the exam, there was no shame.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, sit down, right, history. There was no shame, and it was only afterwards that I was just had.
Oh, do you know what? Anyone could have done that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, thank God the examiner
stopped, drew a line.
Because I didn't have any gear.
At least you remembered to ask for a chaperone.
Exactly. There you go.
Just try and go in without.
That was 1 mark for that.
Yeah. Okay. So I want to grill you a bit about this and find out if you're lying. Or, I mean, this could be a true story. I think we've all had those like near misses.
Yeah.
What year were you in when this happened in med school?
Yeah. So it was around about, because third year OSCE, so around about this time, third years will be coming up to their OSCE exams. Yeah. Because I wouldn't have done it in finals. Okay. I would hope.
Okay. I think I believe this one. Okay.
What happened with your shoulder in the women's rugby team?
So it was in first year of med school, and you know when you start med school and you're like really enthusiastic and you just want to get stuck into everything. I joined basically every team you could imagine, including the women's rugby team. And on my first ever match, I went along, and I didn't really know what I was doing. I've never played rugby in my life. Tackled someone, dislocated my shoulder, and had to go to A&E.
Okay, so I know some details on this. Yeah. Because we went to same uni.
We did, yeah.
We went to same uni. At different times though, or there was probably a crossover, wasn't there?
Yeah, there's I think 2 years of crossover.
2 years of crossover, fine. There was definitely a women's rugby team. Yeah. Because I played for the male rugby team. We were called the Pumas. Yeah. And I think the female team was called...
I can't remember now.
It was called the Cougars.
I was going to say the Tigers. I only went to one match.
Oh, okay, fine.
Match, so after that, was too
what colour was the strip?
Blue and white.
Was it left arm?
It was my left arm, and I'm hypermobile, so this shoulder's a bit dodgy anyway.
That's a risk factor.
It's a risk factor, and I didn't actually have any time off.
Really?
I carried on. Yeah.
Very good. Yeah. There's some details I'm not sure about.
Okay.
But the hypermobility fits in. Yeah. It is very difficult to dislocate a shoulder. Very painful.
Yeah, I can tell you it was.
Was it?
Yeah. Come on then, let's hear about this stag do that you missed an exam for.
Yes. I hope this one's a lie, otherwise I get in trouble.
I hope it's a lie as well. I might be writing to the GMC.
Oh no, I paid my dues on it. So basically, I was best man.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And I booked it like a year in advance to go to Vegas with a bunch of my mates. You know, don't do things by heart. It was our MSK formative exams.
Okay.
So they weren't like crazy.
Big deal, yeah.
It wasn't a big deal.
You couldn't miss that.
Don't miss that. I was flying back on the day of one of the exams.
Ooh, risky.
I know.
Risky move.
I wouldn't have made it. It was impossible. Literally, but then the next day I then have a bunch of other exams. So I remember doing on the plane back from the stag do, like examining everyone's joints in the stag party because it's best to practice on people, isn't it? So I had all these lads just to examine all their knees and elbows. It was a hilarious flight. And
were you like climbing over the seats to get to your friends, or?
we did it in the aisle.
Right.
Literally, they were lying in the aisle, and I was doing a knee exam. And everyone was like, "Is everyone all right?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Sorting out the knees." But weirdly enough, I did get into trouble. When I came back, I had a lovely email waiting for me, because you know how small our med school is. If someone doesn't turn up to an exam,
everyone will know.
Yeah, there's just an empty seat there,
yeah.
and they were really worried. They were like ringing me up and like emailing
That I
me.
can believe. And when you came back, did you have to resit that exam? What happened? Did you fail?
I don't think they made me resit it.
Okay.
Genuinely.
And what were the other exams you were coming back for?
The sort of practical exams.
So you just missed the
written bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you know what? I did have to do it because there was someone else that missed it, and I remember coming in, and the reason why I got off, because my kind of disciplinary was after the exam, and I'd passed the exam.
Okay.
So that was part of my ammunition for the.
I don't know if I believe this one. I think you.
Oh, I dig it.
I think you're too well behaved. I don't think you'd do this.
Well, there you go. We'll find out. Okay.
Right.
And then on to your last one.
Isn't it a bit late to be drinking coffee?
Okay, fire away.
So
Tell me.
this was actually, I was a medical student at the time, but this was when I was working a shift as a healthcare assistant, which I used to do at the weekends, and I worked in a psychiatric unit, and I was doing a night shift.
That's tough, man.
Yeah, it was tough. It was good fun though. I loved it. I was doing a night shift in the psych unit, and it was nice and quiet. It was a great night. All the patients were basically asleep, and we had the lights dimmed. It was great. And then I saw a man in a suit who I'd never seen before go into the kitchen, the patient kitchen, and start making himself a coffee. This was probably about 2 a.m. And seeing a man in a suit, I didn't really think much of it, because I thought, I don't know all the patients, maybe it's one of the patients likes to dress in a suit. So I went in there.
So did they get free reign at the place?
Yeah,
so
they were allowed to go and make themselves drinks and things.
Okay, fine.
So I went into the kitchen and started chatting to him, thinking, I'll make sure he's all right, make sure he gets back to bed. And he started making himself this coffee, and I said to him, I don't think it's a bit late to be making yourself coffee. Should we get you back to bed? And it turns out that was the consultant who had come in to check on some things overnight. And all of the nurses ripped it out of me for that.
Imagine if you actually put him to bed.
I know. Well, they could see, because there's like a glass window from the nurses' station into the kitchen. They could see what I was doing and hear me, and they just let me crack on.
Unbelievable.
It was absolutely mortifying.
How did the consultant take it?
Not very well. He didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
You'd think that he'd have a bit of a sense of humour, but he wasn't that happy.
And the consultant there would stay on all night?
No, to be honest, I think that's the first time I've ever seen a consultant on a night shift. I have no idea why he was in, but it happened.
Did it happen though?
It did happen.
Did it happen though? Who knows? Yeah, I had an exam. I think it may have been 3rd year again. It wasn't my best year for exams. And I got my results.
Yeah.
All went fine. Got my results, but in it I had received a yellow card for one of the stations.
So just for everyone at home, what is a yellow card?
So I guess it's from football and other sports.
Okay.
If you get 2, so there are reasons that clinically they don't have concerns, but they've got concerns over your behaviour and attitude. Can you imagine that? I can't. And so there was frequently people, ladies get it frequently because their hair dangles on the patient, or your badge knocks the patient, or you don't wash your hands, that type of thing. But if you get 2 of them, you fail the whole exam, not just the station, the whole exam. So I got a yellow card in one station, and it said for not wearing any socks.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a trendy guy at med school. It was summertime, and I had those like low rise
like ankle socks.
Ankles, is that what they're called?
Yeah.
But they're not on your ankles, though, are they? They're foot socks.
Below ankle socks, I guess. Yeah, I know what you mean.
Right. But they were like those low ride socks.
Yeah,
That's how I roll.
Because you were so cool.
Very cool. I think my mistake was wearing the low ride socks with the high rise trouser.
Because
then you could see the ankle.
That is a look.
Exactly, showing off them ankles.
Yeah.
So I got this yellow card, and I had a note. With every yellow card, you have to go to a disciplinary thing.
Okay. Your second disciplinary?
I know. What can you say? So anyway, I went along to this thing, and I came armed. Yeah, so I was ready for battle. I felt like a victim that I'd been of sexual discrimination. That was my argument, because on the ward, I was actually doing my clinical placement on. Most of the ladies in the summer didn't have any socks on.
Yeah, I frequently wear those little lowrider socks and show my ankles.
Exactly. Where's the yellow card?
Yeah.
So I came armed with this, ready for battle with the doctor that was going to discipline me.
Yeah.
And he was such a nice guy. And he basically changed my attitude on medicine within this 5 minutes.
Really?
Yeah, so I sat down and I was ready.
Yeah.
I was ready to argue my case. And also I was going to argue that it wasn't accurate.
Livid. Yeah.
Because I was saying I did have socks on, so it's not even correct. Anyway, so I spoke to, and he said, look, first of all, he removed the yellow card. So I'm taking it off. I didn't even have to say. He said it's the most ridiculous yellow card he's ever seen.
Brilliant.
I was like, that's a good start. But he says, I do want to talk to you about this idea, though.
Yeah.
He said that as a doctor, you will always be judged, whether you think it's right or wrong. And he said, therefore, just because your whole purpose is not to be a style icon. As much as I wanted to be like that. It's there for the patients, so therefore you should dress in a manner that stops the prejudice that people may have against you getting in the way of you treating them. And that changed. I was like, you know what, you're absolutely right. Like, people are always going to judge you, so there's either two ways of doing it. You might think, well, I do what I want, I don't care, but as a doctor, your most important thing is the patient, and that kind of judgment will impair that thing.
So true.
I know. And I came out of it and I just was like, I threw all my sexual discrimination notes out the window, and I was like, you know what, you're right. And it did change. I actually didn't wear those.
Did you throw your ankle socks out the window as well?
Fling them out the window like that in the meeting, like that. Oh, do you want to take my list?
I think I know what I'm going to put.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. All of these could be true.
Results time.
The results are in. So I think you're lying about breaking your shoulder.
You're absolutely right.
Yay!
I am hypermobile, but I didn't play rugby. I didn't dislocate my shoulder.
It was the team name. It was the insider information.
Damn it! I should have prepped more.
Okay. Yeah.
I have
Up
just,
all night reading, like
revising. The broken arm with the welly. There's a little disclaimer on that. It wasn't actually a patient I saw in A&E. It was a patient my consultant told me about.
All right, that still checks out.
But it's still a valid story. I think you were lying about B. I don't think that you went to a stag do.
I did.
You missed your exam. Okay, I did not think that.
I was lying about PRing, trying to PR. So the other two are true. Yeah, I did go to a stag do. Pretty bad, isn't it? Thank you so much for joining me.
Oh, it's been great. Thank you for having me.
Cool. And we're going to have a little chat now as well, and we'll stick the video on your channel. So go and check out Sarah's channel. I'll leave a link below and a link to the video up here. So until next time, guys.
Bye.
See you then.